are a combination of gearheads: John the Instigator, Derek the Conservative, Will the Builder, Sean the Racer, and maybe a guest invite you to listen while they sit down, have a drink, and discuss cars. Learn more and subscribe to the podcast with No Driving Gloves. Time now for the ride. It's kind of funny that
worked.
I can't remember to do that every time. I pushed go live this time. It didn't go live, so another PepCAC error because I'm sure it wasn't the software. Has to be the operator. Always the operator. Always the operator.
Always the operator. Always. We actually had a great intro the first go around, and here we are having to do it over yet again. But I think we're doing it.
Derek's lying. We haven't had a good intro for a while.
No, not for like 4 years.
Man, we got a lot of viewers right off the bat, though.
Ooh! I need to switch over to the comments. Sorry,
we got.
I always leave it on private chat. My bad.
I've never used the private chat. But
mine like automatically comes up on the private chat. I always have to switch it to the comments section. So
you really shouldn't be doing that, Jason. That's not. Unless, of course, you're in like one of those trucks.
No. Wait, remember, Jason doesn't have a car, so Dana's probably driving. So he's just sitting in the passenger seat.
Oh. I was thinking if he was doing it like the strip in Vegas, where they've got those trucks with the big billboard on the back, and if he was watching No Driving Gloves on that big billboard.
Oh, we should get one of those big digital billboards, and every Wednesday when we go live, it can just show on the strip.
Well, we could probably do the outdoor advertising thing, and I think we could probably get No Driving Gloves to pop up at 3 a.m. on 6 billboards for $100.
Yeah, and then if Will keeps broadcasting from Hooters all over the country, I think we've got it made.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, if we ever get Will back on the show, I mean, all the guy does is travel. I thought he said last week he was done traveling for a while, and.
That's what I remember him saying is, I'm done traveling. I'm going to be on the podcast for a while.
We're going to be good. He was traveling. He said he was at a show. So maybe he's at a show.
That's true. He didn't say car show. Maybe he's at one of those Las Vegas shows.
I was thinking maybe it's one of those Hooter shows. He gets to watch the chicken wings be made.
Chicken wings.
So
you got a long list of weird things behind you there, John, on the
these are all things that I'm sure can happen. You win an argument with a foolish person. You can tickle yourself. Have you ever tried that, to tickle yourself? Hi Dana.
This is well, I guess we did determine this is No Driving Gloves after hours anymore. So
I know my mic's in the way, but we've got photograph in invisible objects. Now that one I think might actually be doable, because I'm not saying everything on this list is completely impossible. There was a song back when I was in grade school. It was about Thomas Edison, and it was nothing's impossible if you try. And if you try. And how do you know? I mean, I just recently got this, Klingon bird of prey tattoo here. Check that out. I got it in cloaked mode. So, yeah,
good idea.
So I'm down with it. It's going to go with the new Harley. And I got that while I was licking my elbow.
I'm pretty sure if you were really, really tempted, you could probably somewhere on the internet find a video of someone licking their own elbow. We don't need to go down that path, but I'm betting you.
I didn't specify on that last one, kiss your own cheeks. Isn't there that old saying? Put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. And I'm sure if you looked for the right thing on the right website, you could probably see that. We're just not specifying which cheeks. We'll go with facial cheeks. And this other one that, came out, made a lot of news this week.
But what about dividing 100 into 3 equal parts? I mean, that's easy. It's 33.333333333333333333333333333333333333333333. Okay, I'm done.
You know, that one you're dealing with math, and I don't understand this, but math solves everything. You know, if we get the right formula, we can time travel. If we get the right formula, you know, we can make Mountain Dew. If we get the right I don't see how math trickles down to everything. You know, of course, I don't understand algorithms.
But that's why they use math and engineering.
I guess there's a new podcast out too that has no humans on it. It's all algorithms, voice synthesized, and the AI carries on the podcast and the discussions. Sounds like some Elon Musk shit right out the bat.
They probably have more viewers than we do.
So
they've just thrown it out there.
Yeah.
But now Elon can tweet about it. So, you know.
You don't get to see the viewer numbers, I think. I don't know. I've never been on your.
No, we've gone over it. We've gone over that like 500 times, John. Will, myself, anybody on this end, we don't see the viewer numbers. We are kept in complete mystery.
Now, I'm in this rental car right now while the Mini's getting fixed. And it's a Toyota Corolla, kind of their base model, SE or whatever. And I'll be honest, I hated the damn thing for the first couple of days. But this new gig I got, I do a hell of a lot of driving. Really nice to have a rental car. It's got lane keeping, which I guess most cars do. You know, obviously, if a Corolla does, we're getting really, you know, lower. But the other day, I found out it had radar cruise control. And do you know what happens when you have lane keeping and radar cruise control?
Yeah, driving is no longer fun.
No, you have a self-driving car for about 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Then it starts beeping at you, and then I touch the steering wheel. I haven't went 15 seconds to see if it starts slowing me down or something. But I never really put two and two together that, you know, it's going to speed up and slow down for the people in front of me. It's going to keep you in the lane. One thing that occurred to me, though, and I'm curious if you know the answer, and this is still car related. When I'm going down, say I was coming back from Mississippi today. So I'm on a lot of 4-lane highways, not interstate, but 4-lane, you know, divided highways. And so there's people turning off the road and that. As the people start slowing down, and, you know, we've got the cruise control set at 69 miles an hour because I get paid by the hour. So the guy in front of you starts to slow down. So the car starts to slow down and starts to slow down. Do the brake lights come on when it does that?
No, I don't believe it does, John. Because all it does is if you're talking about the radar controlled cruise.
Yeah.
No, all it's doing is adjusting the throttle placement. It's not actually applying the brakes. It's simply backing off the throttle to slow the car down. So as far as I know
about that, because quickly as this thing slowed down on a couple of things, but I'm going, you know, it'll drastically within a very, very short distance go from 70 to 40. And it made me wonder, what about the poor guy behind me who doesn't realize I'm going from 70 to 40? Because the car in front of me's got brake lights telling me he's going 70 to 40.
Well, maybe in that case, maybe it does apply. I guess it depends on, maybe it depends on the severity of the deceleration. Maybe it's a, you know, situation where if it knows that it has to decelerate faster, a lot of cars do have active, you know, braking when they sense things. Right. So it could be. I thought you were talking about just when it was kicking down like 3 to 5 mile an hour, because my wife's Acadia has the I turn it off whenever I drive it. But because I hate it, because you'll be going and if you stop paying attention to your speed and you're just paying attention to traffic, all of a sudden you get up behind somebody, and instead of having your cruise going 79, all of a sudden you're going 74 or 70, and you lost, you're not paying attention to it. And all of a sudden your trip becomes much longer because you're slowing down to stupidly, ridiculously slow speeds.
Oh, I used to know the computation too, that how much time 5 miles an hour would affect, and it's really not that great.
It's
But
not.
That's
but it
just
is
the
to me.
annoying thing. You just hate looking down and go, geez, I had this thing set at 69. Now I'm going 54. Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. But like I say, I get paid by the hour. Yeah.
We're not all that lucky, John. And when we're on trips, we're not all getting paid by the hour.
Yeah. Oh, so I had that one going on. I was really hoping, I had to ask Derek because I really hadn't looked or put two and two together. I was really, really busy last Friday. And I was thinking, oh man, the prediction for, and I can't remember the author's name. I could probably look that up. If I could spell and type. I hate typing on this. Oh.
George Orwell? What are we? T.S. Eliot? I mean, what are we talking about here, John?
Oh. There we go. In the book, All Corvettes Are Red, it was written in the mid 90s, maybe. Oh, yeah, I guess it came out in 97. It's by James Shefner, something like that. I can't. In that, there was conversation and talk of Corvette going to its own platform, leaving Chevrolet, and it would be the Corvette, kind of like the Porsche 911 would be. And you'd have all these variants of the Corvette. And I saw Corvette Blogger had posted that, and I didn't put two and two together. That was the first. And Derek told me, oh no, it was a joke. And
April 1st, people. It's called April Fool's Day.
But wouldn't that be the day that you'd make that release? Because not some people are going to go, oh, it's an April Fool's joke. And some are going to go, wait a second. Is that serious?
Well,
and
actually,
they really don't figure it out for like 9 or 10 days and go, wait a second. They were serious.
Well, the one that, I think the one that grabbed more traction in that light was the one that came out that they were going to kill the Z06, the new mid-engine Z06, because of course the federal standards that were announced, which are on your wonderful backdrop tonight, John, kind of coincided right around April Fool's Day. I think they came out a couple days before April 1st, and so a very well-written spoof article about GM killing the Z06 tied in very well to the new announcement from the feds on miles per gallon across the fleet, and by 2026 had quite a few people. Of course, I'd yawn right in the middle of that. Had quite a few people believing that story, even though it was an April Fool's joke. I think at least one of our listeners bought into it for a little while. I'm not pointing out anybody or anybody's names.
Oh, it's amazing. We've got 5 or 6 Corvette fans as listeners. But
probably our most prolific listener and commenter. How's that?
Out of that list behind me, 40 MPG by 2026. And when you started to read further what happened, you're really going, what are the, why didn't they just make it 68 miles a gallon? I mean, that's I think it's the standard. It's like 8%, 8%, 8% greater in 2024, 8% greater in 2025, and 10% greater in 2026. And there were supposedly some rollouts it was a change in the fines. If you don't meet this average fuel economy standard, they had never updated it. It used to be $5.50 per tenth of a mile a gallon below the average. So let's say it was 40 miles a gallon for the federal average, and your fleet averaged 39. You paid $55 per car you sold in penalties, or they say the manufacturer did. Who do you think would pay that $55?
Ooh, pick me, John. Pick me. Ooh. Is it the consumer?
I believe it might be, because I don't think that, the manufacturer is going to go, yeah, we'll just go ahead and eat that one. We build 1 million cars a year, so it's $55 million in fines. We're just going to eat that. Our stockholders will be good with it. Yeah, I'm sure. And if it's typical, do I have a calculator in front of me? I should. I've got 5 computers.
And you probably have a cell phone too.
And that's actually the one I'm using right now.
Look at that. No, I mean, don't, as John's doing this calculation, I mean, I think with the thing that we have to remember is this is across the fleet. So this is 40 miles per gallon averaged out across the fleet. So if you've got hybrid vehicles that are getting 100 miles to the gallon, and you've got something like a Corvette Z06 that's not getting 40 miles to the gallon, it's getting under that. This is an average across the fleet. Let's not leave that out. It's not every single car in the fleet has to hit 40 miles per gallon.
But the penalty goes against every car if it did.
Oh, yeah. If you don't meet that, it goes against every car. And
I was thinking, I bet the manufacturers don't pass that on as $55. I just went with standard retail markup of 40%. That means they're probably bumping the price of your car $91.67. That's standard retail markup. So they're making an extra $40 off of you too, because the government penalized them. Do you know what the new fine's going to be? Because the old one had never been adjusted for inflation.
I'm bad. I didn't do my research for tonight. I didn't see it. John, what is it?
$15 per tenth of a gallon. So if you're 1 mile a gallon below, $150 in fines against you. And if we do that with the standard retail markup, that's now bumping the cost of your car $250. So roughly half your monthly car payment, depending on the car, etc. But the average car. So, okay, now your cars went up $250. Hey, you're saving gas, you're saving the environment. Now, of course, the manufacturers can also buy credits for manufacturers that are getting above, 40. Say, the Dale, we'll use the old Dale car. Say it's getting 48 miles a gallon. They they get some pollution credits there that they can sell to another manufacturer. It brings their average down, but they'll still stay above 40. But they can sell those 8 miles a gallon. This is putting it very simply, to another manufacturer to help bring their average up. It's a shell game. They're moving things around, and it's not like they can just wake up in the morning and go, okay, if the manufacturers can get you to 40, I guarantee you they'd get you to 40. It's a selling point. I mean, that was a big deal for Honda back in 88, 89 with the CRXs. The HF would get an honest 42 miles per gallon, and most people were getting above 50 with those things. They had the performance of a dead roach, but I just, like I said, there's things that are kind of impossible to do. And I don't care if you do. Huh?
I said, well. Let's go back to, because you talked about it being a shell. Sorry, I'm holding my mic tonight so that John doesn't yell at me for being too quiet. So, if you go back, you're talking about it being a shell game where one manufacturer, if they're over it, can sell their, mile whatever over to another one to help them, blah blah blah. And so they're just moving things around and all that. And then you say, if they could get you there, they would. But let's look back over time at the development of technology. Do you really think big business like the auto industry in the United States, if they were not pushed by federal standards or something that was going to hold them accountable as, in their business, do you really think they would ever bother improving things like gas mileage in a car?
Prior to 1972, no. After 1972, yes. Gas mileage became important in the first, fuel crisis. Gas mileage was kind of important in World War II, but not so much. And that's why, I don't know when the CAFE standards took effect. Do you know offhand, Derek?
1970. I want to say 76, 74 or 76. Those 2 years are sticking out in my head. But okay, yeah, even though the gas
75.
I jumped both sides of it. Nice. Even though the gas, miles per gallon became important then, okay, this was at a time when we were getting 9, 12 miles to the gallon in a V8 American automobile. Had we not had the gas crisis, gas shortage, the OPEC crisis, all those things, and we didn't have any federal standards put in place, where would we be today? Honestly, where do we think we would be today?
Probably maybe the same place. I mean, people go out and still buy Vipers, SRT 10 trucks. What's the new one? The Ram TRX, that's gets like 7. So people who want the performance want it. But like I said, things changed in 72. CAFE didn't come into effect till 75. But I think the manufacturers started to react. We need to be a little bit more fuel efficient. And you're thinking American. What were the Japanese doing? They were already building smaller, more fuel efficient vehicles, not because they were required to, but because that's what they knew people wanted. So, no, I'll agree with you that the free market society without laws wouldn't have necessarily had the strides and advances they have in the last 50 years. But they would have had some, and it would have improved. And now gas mileage, after the rise in prices and inflation of the early 70s, of the late 70s, into the 80s, the early 2000s or whatever, then go 08 to 10, I think gas was $4 a gallon, and then it was $4 a gallon again. To be honest, I think it even got up to $4 a gallon in like 16 or 17 early on in the last guy's leadership, or when the last guy was in office. When I don't want to create argument there. So I think that's what what consumers want. Now, of course, one of the big reasons they did this change is when, what year was it? 2015, I think it was. The buying habits of the American public were 51% cars, 49% SUVs.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what the ratio is now?
I read this somewhere not that long ago, and it has flipped as I recall. And we're back to where trucks and SUVs are topping out, but I don't remember the number. Is that still holding true?
77% of all new car sales are SUVs.
Yeah.
Or CUVs or some sort of truck type thing. Now, keep in mind, even the car-based I'm trying to think, is it HRX or whatever the Honda, even the car-based ones are counted in that number now.
Crossovers.
Course,
yeah.
Well, yeah, the ones that are basically built on a car chassis just lifted up a little bit. Those are now being counted as SUVs and trucks and that. And then, of course, Ford doesn't build cars anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's, General Motors has just about eliminated all of the cars in their lineup. Dodge is eliminated. Well, I think they only sell, one Dodge anymore, or two. The Durango.
Stellantis. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily Americans want to buy. 77% of Americans want to buy SUVs. It's they don't have a choice.
Well, but they don't have a choice because that's what the market showed. That's why Ford got rid of Ford was not selling cars. They were sitting on the dealership lots and they were not profiting on them. So what do? If you have if you're running any business, if you're running a computer business, John, and you're not selling one of the products in the lineup, what do?
You obviously
get rid of it.
You change it in some sort of way.
Yeah, they changed it into more trucks.
No, they changed it into a lifted car. It's still a car. It's a car based. It's a unibody. A unibody is a car still. And a truck is a body on frame.
You're talking about the Maverick? Yeah.
And that was one of the articles I read, that the Maverick and the what was it? The EcoSport, which has now been killed. Mm-hmm. And a couple of those were built to fill in. And the Maverick, a lot of the Maverick sales are going to people that wanted an entry level vehicle. It's, a base Maverick's $21,000. There's not a lot of cars out there for $21,000.
Speaking of which, I've seen like 3 or 4 of them running around the Franklin Bowling Green area. Just all of a sudden, they evidently showed up they finally got delivered, and they are running around like crazy.
Their production's completely sold out. 2022 orders ceased a long time ago, and they weren't even able to build all the 2022s. I've got a friend who has one on order, and he was supposed to get a 2022. Now they're telling him it's probably not going to get built till November, and it's a 2023, but they're holding the pricing, whatever, so he's still going to get it at the 2022 prices. But he also went out and bought one. He went out, paid $2,500 over sticker because he needed something like that. He's got a small car that he can drive, but he needed something kind of more as a daily driver, and he wanted the Maverick, and his Maverick was supposed to be delivered in February, and that's how he kind of built his finances around. So he ended up going out and buying one and paying a little bit over sticker, which is a whole nother thing that came out, that, Ford is supposedly really taking names, and supposedly those dealers are going to pay. How, we don't know. And it's,
well, again, we know on the
We had
Yeah,
that
I mean-
conversation a few episodes ago about free market society and that. or
Yeah, I mean, on the
free
GM
market.
side of things, they're going to take allotments away. I mean, they're
Well-
just going to flat out take it away. But I got to break from this conversation for just a minute because I got to say something to Phil. Phil, I need to talk to you about rotary engines. So let's get together. Email me or something after sometime. Anyway, all right, back to the show.
And I hope everything's going well for you, Phil.
Yes, Phil. We hope the best.
So I just don't know. I don't find what they're doing reasonable. When I was talking about the dollars and the fines, they're going back to 2019 and they're going to penalize manufacturers back to 2019. So 3 model years of cars, almost 4 model years of cars that, this was in lawsuits and things. So they were aware they may or may not. But I think that's the quote that's on the left there is, do or do not. There is no try. It's kind of, you either do the fuel economy or you don't, and you make that's the way you made your bed, you better lie in it.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, that's what she said.
As Toby pointed out, Mr. Ford, I wish you did not stop making the big Lincolns. Edsel Ford, I did not stop making them. People stopped buying them. And that is the truth. You don't stop making them. People just stop buying them.
Hey, I'm going to throw one out at you. And what podcast? I can't remember what podcast. I'm going to have to start writing this down because I'm going to have to start citing these podcasts.
It's because you're getting old, John.
And we're talking about, it was Farrah's podcast, The Smoking Tire. And he had somebody on there. He was talking. Who's our great guy on Leno, Auburn Car Museum?
Donald Osborne.
He had Donald Osborne on, and they were talking Cadillacs. This popped into my head because of the Lincoln comment. They were saying that, the 59 Eldorado with its huge, massive fins, and it was that was, everybody wanted that, and it was great. But they stopped making them after 1 year because they were dangerous. And they went ahead, and Farrah told a story that supposedly some girl was running to playing Frisbee, 12-year-old or 15-year-old, and ran into one of the points on one of those fins, and it, impaled her, collapsed a lung. And, unfortunately she passed away. Is that a true story that anybody knows?
I have never heard that story. And even if it is true, I would have a very hard time believing that because the girl died, that would be the reason they stopped making them. If you look across,
it wasn't just her. Lots of people were dying that way, at least according to Farrah.
I can't believe. Number one, it wouldn't have impaled because if you ever gotten closer, all of the corners are rounded. They're not sharp points. You just can't flat out. They didn't do sharp impalable points on the trim work and all of that. Everything like that is always slightly rounded. I can imagine it breaking a rib if you hit it wrong and that rib puncturing your lung.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking is, it could have.
If it was a true story, Ralph Nader would have taken care. Very true. But I mean, look across styling at every automaker of the late 50s and early 60s. Unless they all got sued for something like that, it was just the trend of the jet age styling, because by 59, moving into 60, into 61, every single styling studio across the automotive industry was laying the fins down more on their side and appearing more wing-like than fin-like. It was styling cues. It wasn't. I have never heard that story. I've read a lot. I've dug a lot into automotive history. I personally have never heard that. I could be wrong, but I have never heard that in the discussion of the change of the fin design during that period. It all was about jet age and wing like and where they were going with that. I mean, you can go back and talk about the hand cranking incident that, killed. I'm going to blank on his name right now because I didn't think we'd be talking about it tonight. But the gentleman that was, killed on Grosse Ile, trying to hand crank an automobile for someone, which led to the development of the electric self-starter by Kettering. That's a true story, well documented. We know that happened. And I've never heard the story of someone being so seriously injured on one of those fins that it caused anything. I mean, that's.
Have you, because Jason reminded me that it came up in a conversation because Donald and Matt were discussing Unsafe at Any Speed, Ralph Nader's book, and how, we've talked a couple of episodes ago that car styling right now is affected by a lot of government regulations. And that's why we don't build these, gorgeous Art Deco-ish cars anymore. Cause there's, minimum headlight standards and headlight heights and pedestrians collision things and 5-mile-an-hour bumpers and side impact. And, I really hate cars nowadays. Back in my day, you could put your arm kind of out a window and it was the window sill or the base of the window was still below your armpit. And I'm 5'7", so I'm a small guy. So, but now it seems the base of your side windows are all shoulder height. If you want to put your arm out a window, you got to reach up and over. But all that stuff kind of, I guess, trickles down to, and I guess they were talking about Ralph Nader. Have you ever read Unsafe at Any Speed? Has any of our listeners read Unsafe at Any Speed?
I would hope you've read it, John.
I have not, and I'm thinking, and this.
What kind of automotive historian are you?
I felt fine because Ferris said he'd never read it either. So, and he's right now reading it. So, now, granted,
I should probably honestly reread it. It's been many, 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 many years since I've read it. So, and to me, it never hurts to reread books because, of course, you forget things. You don't pick up everything that was in a book and remember it the first time around. So, and that's one thing with Unsafe at Any Speed, because it so often people just remember the Corvair portion, right? They remember, the wheel falls off the Corvair in a sharp turn and the Corvair is so unsafe. Well, he really picked on the Corvair a lot for a lot of reasons, but that wasn't the only thing he was calling out in that book. I mean, he called out all of the safety standard issues that were in the automobile at the time. And here's the thing, it's unfortunate that GM got into such a fight with Ralph Nader over that book, because they fixed the problem with the Corvair, and really, after they fixed the problem with the rear axle, it was a fantastic car. It no longer had the rear axle issue. It was really a quality built car, but they got so far into the legal battle with Nader, they basically had to kill the car because it was looking so bad for them. Yeah, but now it's plastic chrome, Jason. It's not real chrome anymore, and everything else is soft.
Why can't we come up with something new for dashboards? I don't know. I guess
we did. It's called iPads. They just mount them in the center of the dashboard.
Yeah, our dashboards are now all glass. There's no chrome or anything. I've got faux carbon fiber, from Mini in there. I don't think it's real carbon fiber panels, but it's still got some chrome trim, etc. Wood. Who was it that just did a wood dash? That was odd.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure like Rolls Royce and
Yeah.
Bentley and all that still carry like a wood dash and wood trim, true real wood.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was one of those companies that you never thought would really think, and they went ahead and did real
Daewoo,
wood for a dash.
Daewoo,
Uh,
Infinity.
I don't think Daewoo exists any
Yeah, they don't.
longer.
I'm just throwing out stupid names.
Mm.
But that would be a good reason why they do it, because they don't exist anymore, and you'd never think they would do it.
Yeah, I should. Sorry, listeners, I'm talking to Derek right now. I really should send you the link for that Farah show. Matt Farah was on our show, and if I look it up, I can tell you. But
I wasn't on that episode.
Huh?
I wasn't here for the Matt Farah thing.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah, I think, as I recall, it probably would have been a bad thing had I been here. So,
Yeah, we had a conversation about another guest like that earlier, or proposed guest. Oh, let's see here. Matt Farah, Smoking Tires with Matt Farah, episode 133. If you want to go back and take a listen to Sean and I talking to Matt. And before Matt, we really had a strict no cussing policy. And Matt said, how's that working for you? Now we just kind of have a casual no cussing policy. But that episode with Donald Osborne, he had just got back from the Aubrange or whatever. They did a tour.
Audrain. Yes.
They just did a tour that's kind of supposed to be like the London to Brighton run, but they expanded the model years so that it could be affordable. You didn't have to have these over the top expensive things.
And so that it's not anything like the London to Brighton run. Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. Yeah. There's inspired by. The funny thing is there's already one of those in the US. It's called the New London to New Brighton run. And it is nearly identical to the London to Brighton run with the same vintage of cars. They go from New London to New Brighton.
Well, see, the idea behind this and why they expanded it is the cars that are eligible from the London to Brighton run or the New London to New Brighton run have a very premium price tag. And they want to get, again, it's expanding the car hobby. They want to get more people into the car hobby. So I think they went up to 08 or something. It's just a couple of years.
Wow, they went up to 08. Yeah, because those cars are affordable too.
Well, they're more affordable than I can't remember what.
No, they're not. They're all in the same price range. Once you're in the horseless carriage era, there are very few affordable brass era or horseless carriage automobiles. They bring Model T is going to be about the cheapest car you can get. Maybe something like a Brush. Yeah, it's to me, that's a marketing ploy. Oh, we're gonna bring the years up a couple of years to get more people involved. Well, yes, okay, there are a few more people if you go up to 1908 that have those cars. They are still not cheap cars.
Well, they are less expensive, but
and there you go. Toby nailed it as well. They expanded it because there aren't enough cars that early to fill up the event.
Well, they got into a portion of the conversation of the number of young people, 18, 22-year-olds that are into those cars. I mean, we're not talking thousands, but there's a contingent, at least according to Donald, and they're trying to figure out, and they might add a Model T category for people like under 25 so they can participate a lot. I know there's, I guess, a lot of people under 25 with Model Ts.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought that was, a neat thing. It's a way to get, I don't care. It's a way to get people doing this stuff. And it's a way to actually maybe, probably the idea is a bunch of old guys are sitting around going, damn, we got these T's, we got these, whatever, 09 Buicks and whatever. Who's going to buy them off of us? We need to make the youth want these cars again. and they really got into discussion of car collecting and that. Maybe I should reach out to Donald. He said he's doing a book on how car collecting began, and he said he could knock it out really quick, and he then all of a sudden realized there's a lot to this, and it's not as simple, and it's been a multi-year thing, and he thinks there's a couple more years, because he thought car collecting began after World War II, and then found out it was a little bit before World War II, and he found out, it began in the 1920s. No, it began a little bit earlier than that, and it's trying to keep these cars alive, and early car collecting was to keep the cars running and active. So it wasn't about making them all pristine and factory perfect and that. It was keeping them on the road and keeping them used. Mm-hmm. And, the rich would get their car and they would drive it, and a new one would come out and they put the old one in the basement or the barn, and however that works. But like I said, it was a really good episode. It was one of the most recent ones with Farah, and a real good discussion on brass era cars and this new run. And Farah got to do it in I want to say it was an 02 Packard or something. Packards go back that far?
Yes, they do.
It was like it went like 2 miles an hour, and
Farah, somebody didn't know how to drive it.
Well, Farah had never driven, probably anything older than, I would say muscle car era, but I don't know. But it was not very, very fast. But he enjoyed it, and he wants to come back. And then they got talking about doing a brass era electric car run. And the discussion is, how long do you make it? Because we know it'll go 30 miles one way, but then how do we get it charged to go 30 miles the other way? And it's not going to be a lunch stop or whatever. But just like I said, it was a good thought process, a good thing. Adam Martin and I have talked about trying to develop a tour, and I probably should get back on him about it, because our initial conversations were just prior to March of 2020, and things have I think things are getting back to where we can start talking about that stuff again, just to get people involved on something that's a little bit more middle class affordable.
Heck yeah. Hey, I'm just happy that pretty soon I'm going to finally have the brass era car that's going to be able to go on tours. So that's what I'm waiting for. Then you'll see me all over the place.
Really slow though.
So you get it. If I'm going slow, you get a better look at me.
Say, because guess you could tow it behind the Arcadia, can't you?
If it was an open trailer, yeah. And it's an Acadia, John, Acadia, like the national park.
Yeah, me.
Well, why would I tow it? Why wouldn't I just drive it?
Well, if you're going to be taking it everywhere, you might want to leave now to get it to California.
So makes it more fun.
Woohoo! Oh. There was something else I wanted to talk about tonight. I told you before the show, and I still can't remember it. But we've covered a lot of things. We've talked about the impossible.
Yeah. Well, you know what's not impossible?
Oh, we're going to have a big electric car show coming up, Jason. I'm scheduling a guest. Very controversial, man. I could say very active in social media.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was the best freaking thing
you've been friends with him for years, and you're just finally getting him on the show. I mean, come on.
Well, I was waiting for him to develop his own social media platform.
No, he just bought into it.
Well, he weighed the options.
That's true.
I mean, there's a lot of people.
He realized that starting your own platform can fail miserably, such as other people have recently shown us.
Of course he is, Jason. He's marketing. I guess I'm going to close it with this: is I for some crazy reason, I guess I'm a masochist or something. I've been watching the new MacGyver, and season 5, episode 13. They have to go rescue a Bizzarini and trying to find this mafia guy or whatever. And it was hidden in Italy, and it popped up on, they never said, but it was popped up for sale for €500. So, we had a race over to get it. And this other, as they got there, they were the first people, and it was a great deal at €500. So Americans could find it, get called into the office, get on a plane, fly over to Italy, drive to the back country of Italy to buy this Bizzarini for €500. Just at the same time, just as the deal was being closed, one of the mobster guys gets out of it, pulls up and gets out and offers €1,000, blah, blah, blah. And it sells for €10,000. All I can say is it's one of those horrible early 70s Volkswagen base kit cars. And it doesn't resemble a Bizzarini in any way, shape, or form. I would imagine the hole in the floor was probably the VW floor pan was rusted out because, Mac reaches under and undoes the drain plug and puts the oil slick down and crashes the Range Rover that was chasing him and all this other fun stuff. But I just wanted to say, if you want to see a horrible stunt double or whatever, not once does a real Bizzarini appear in this thing. But and €500 would be way too much to pay for this kit car. So, but that's my off track. But
and if you want to see 2 real Bizzarinis that are in the U.S. right now, come visit me at my last 2 days on the job at National Corvette Museum and see a Bizzarini Strada, the one that was actually in Herbie the Love Bug and the original Gone in 60 Seconds, and the only Bizzarini open wheel racer, the Monoposto Prototipi. They're both on display right now at the Corvette Museum. Why? Because they both have small block Chevy Corvette engines in them. And you can just, wish me good luck on my last 2 days.
I guess next time Derek's on, Derek will be a. Do you start your job on Monday, or do you get a week off between them?
I am starting on Monday, so taking the weekend off.
Derek will be a completely new, different person. I started my new one last Monday. You started your new one this coming Monday. I don't think Will's changing jobs. I don't think Sean ever had a job.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, oops, Phil. Yeah. Well, you had other things going on, so I didn't want to reach out to you and explain that to you. So we made the announcement last week on the show that I have accepted the position of curator of collections for the Lane Motor Museum in Nashville, Tennessee, for a kind of a career change and better work-life balance and spend more time here with the family at home. So, if you're ever in Nashville, come see me at the Lane Motor Museum. And we'll always have friends at the Corvette Museum. Mr. Bob Bubness, my curator of collections at the Corvette Museum, just commented. So,
I'm waiting. We're going to give Phil a second to finish off his.
Phil's really holding this out. He's like, I'm from Nashville.
And he spelled it out, individual letters. Check it out on the. He's posting to Facebook
in 96-point font.
NoDrivingGloves.com. Check everything out. Remember, you can go to NoDrivingGloves.com/call us, and you can leave us a voice message if you want to tell us something and want to have your voice on the show. We'll pop you up if it's worthwhile. I don't know where Will is. He just said he was at a show. You know where to find Derek. I'm all over Alabama now, but I don't play with cars during the new job. But we're putting some stuff together. You can, like I said, you can find us on nodrivinggloves.com, links to all the social media, links to everything. Videos are there. Episodes are there. Like I said, the audio episodes are catching up. Maybe we'll get caught up. We've got an announcement coming up that we're going to partner with a big local car show that happens. I think they're doing it. Well, happens in the fall. I'm not even going to narrow it down to that. In support of a great institution. We should start talking about that. We might talk a little bit about that next week. Don't know. Still crossing some T's and dotting some I's. But till next week, you good, Derek?
I'm good. See you guys later.
Yep. Good luck, Phil. Good luck, Derek. Have fun, Will. I'm out of here.
See you.
Where's that in button?